Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Shah. We are discussing and solving the topic acid, basis, and salt related to the IGCSE and 5070 chemistry B1, variant 11 or variant 12. Both the type of questions are there in the sheet. Acid, base, and salt. This is our topic related to the O levels chemistry, IGCSE, GCSE, as well as 5070. All the components and the syllabus contents are same. Little bit difference here in the relativity of the question. Which equation represent the reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide? Correct option is D. Now we are discussing about the correct option for the securing our time. Representation of the acid and base, it is related to in this manner. H comes from acid plus OH ion comes from base. So they produce water molecule. So H positive, OH negative, they produce water. This is ionic equation, represent the reaction between hydrochloric acid and sodium hydroxide. Question number 1, option D is correct. A, B, C are incorrect because acid and base, sodium hydroxide, any kind of acid, even nitric acid, ethanoic acid, sulfuric acid, when they react with any kind of base like sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, ammonium hydroxide, copper hydroxide, any kind of hydroxide, only hydroxide with the acids, H positive, OH negative. Equation A is also the ionic equation for the formation of NaCl, but this is not related to the question number 1. Now, we have to proceed our question number 2. This question number 2 is related to the chemical properties and the properties of sulfuric acid. Listen, question number 2, the following statement about the dilute sulfuric acid all are all correct. No doubt. 1, 2, 3, 4 all are correct because sulfuric acid when react with barium chloride, then they produce white precipitate due to the presence of sulfate ion. Solution turns anhydrous copper 2 sulfate from white to blue, anhydrous copper sulfate white to blue. So this statement also correct. But here is the question, which two statements confirm the acidic nature of the solution H2SO4. Addition of universal indicator shows that solution has a pH value of less than 7. Yes, all acids have pH value less than 7. Sulfuric acid, one of them, is a strong acid. It has pH value from 0 to 4. Normally 0 to 3 should be considered. Thus in our syllabus it is given from 0 to 4. So it is correct. The solution reacts with copper 2 oxide forming a blue solution. It is also right because when copper 2 oxide react with sulfuric acid, neutralization occurs, and neutralization occurs between base and acids. All metal oxides are basic in nature except two, zinc oxide and aluminum oxide. They are amphoteric in nature. So statement 3 and 4 is correct for acidic nature of H2SO4. Keep this thing in your mind. All statements are correct, but acidic nature shows by statement 3 and statement number 4 as well. This is the chemical property of all kind of bases. When ammonium salt NH4 containing Cl, Br, NO3, any kind of ammonium salt react with OH, sodium, potassium, calcium, even metal oxides which are basic in nature, when they react with ammonium containing salt, they must produce ammonia gas. So question number 3, option A is correct. The reason is calcium hydroxide contain OH, hydrochloric acid is an acid, magnesium nitrate eventually an acidic salt, while calcium sulfate is neutral salt. So we can say that, how can we say that calcium sulfate is a neutral salt? We know that very well. We have few strong bases in our syllabus. They are also called alkali or alkali. Lithium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide, rubidium hydroxide, cesium hydroxide, as well as group number 2 elements like calcium hydroxide, strontium hydroxide, and barium hydroxide. These three metals belongs to group number 2 in the periodic table. These 8 metals are strong bases. So if these metal, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, calcium, strontium, barium, if they contain along with chloride ions, nitrate ions, or sulfate ions, SO4. If the sulfate contain lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, calcium, strontium, barium, salt is neutral in nature. So these salts are neutral in nature. So neutral salt cannot be produced ammonia gas when they react with ammonium salt. So question number 3, option A is correct. Now we have to proceed our question number 4. Basically, 20 centimeter cube of 2 molar solution of potassium hydroxide mixes with 20 centimeter cube of 1 molar solution of sulfuric acid. This question is not related to stoichiometry or concentration. The question is given along with the hint, temperature of the mixture rises. It means this should be the exothermic reaction. If exothermic reaction is there, the reactants have higher energy content than the product. The very simple example can be used to understand the very easy burning candle. When the burning candle before lit, it has more energy, more amount of matter because its height is more than the after one. When the candle is lit or lighted, then after passage of some time, it emits light energy, heat energy. So it should be an exothermic reaction. So with the initial is height means energy is more than the finally. So option C is correct for question number 4. Question number 4, option C is correct. Now we have to proceed our next question, which is question number 5. This question is little bit related to the stoichiometric function. In the question number 1, we have learned about H positive ions when combined with OH negative ions, then they produce water molecule. So during the formation of 1 mole of water, we can say that 1 mole of water produce 54 kilojoules per mole. Now 100 centimeter cube of 1 mole of decimeter cube, by using the formula concentration C is equal to N over V. Molar concentration is given 100 centimeter cube divided by 1000 became 0.1. It means that 100 centimeter cube or ml when divided by 1000 became 0.1 concentration. When we place this number against the volume to 0.1, then multiply by 1, we have number of moles 0.1 moles. They are called 0.1 moles. It is a stoichiometric simple relation. 1 mole formation of water gives 54 kilojoule per mole energy. Evidences are given. So 1.1 mole of water can be produced. How much amount of energy? X is placed below 54, making the cross multiplication 0.1 multiplied by 54. So the correct option is C. This is the correct option. This is correct option C. So which quantity of heat is liberated? 100 centimeter cube of 1 molar dm cube of hydrochloric acid reacts with so and so hydroxide. So concentrations are given. That is why option C is correct for the given question. Now we have to move in our question number 6. Which metals has a soluble carbonate, chloride, and sulfate? Option D is correct. Reason behind it. Barium chloride is soluble. Barium sulfate and barium carbonate all are insoluble. If you remember, all carbonate are insoluble. All carbonate are insoluble except group number 1, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and ammonium. Their chloride, all salts of group number 1 are always soluble. There is no single exception here. So, barium soluble, barium carbonate insoluble, barium chloride, barium sulfate, just barium chloride is soluble, so option A cannot be used. Calcium carbonate insoluble, calcium chloride soluble, calcium sulfate insoluble. Copper carbonate insoluble, copper chloride soluble, but copper sulfate is also soluble. But potassium carbonate, potassium chloride, and potassium sulfate means all elements of group number 1, like lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, and ammonium, NH4, ammonium. These group number 1 metals along with ammonium, their chloride, carbonate, sulfate, nitrate, ethanoate, all type of salts are soluble. Only these substances. There is no exception with the group number 1 at all. Question number 7, correct option is D. The reason behind it, listen to me. Sodium hydroxide solution was added to dilute hydrochloric acid. pH value from 0 to 4 are strong acids like HNO3, HCl, and H2SO4. They are strong acid, their pH value from 0 to 4. While pH value above 4, 4.1 to 6.9, they are weak acids. So their pH values are greater than 4 but below than 7. Like ethanoic acid, CH3, COOH. So many acids are weak in nature. Carbonic acid, H2CO3. When carbon dioxide react with water, they produce carbonic acid. Similarly, phosphoric acid, H3PO4. Similarly, boric acid. These are weak acids, and so many other examples are there. But neutral solution pH value 7, exact 7. They are neutral solutions like water, pure water, saliva in the human mouth, pH value 7. But pH value from 7.1 till 11, they are weak bases, while above 11 to 14, they are strong bases or alkali. And in the previous question, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, calcium, strontium, barium, they are strong bases and alkalis. So they produce neutral salt when they react with strong acids. Now, strong bases pH value more than 11. Sodium hydroxide is filled in the burette above the apparatus, above the conical flask in the burette, while the hydrochloric acid is a strong acid has been taken in the conical flask. So when we add sodium hydroxide solution gradually, drop by drop, to all acid gradually neutralized by the adding of base, salt water is produced, pH value increasing from 0 to 4 up to 7 till solution becomes neutral. Then one more additional drop of sodium hydroxide is placed in the conical flask which contain hydrochloric acid. All acid has been neutralized. So additional drop of sodium hydroxide increasing the pH value more than 11. So we have four options: decrease to 1, not possible; decrease to 7, no; increase to 7, okay, but which type of increasing? Above 12. So increase to 12 because all strong bases found their pH values above 11 till 14. So option D is correct for question number 7 here. Now the question number 8, solid Y is insoluble in water. It gives off a gas when heated and also when reacted with dilute sulfuric acid. Solid Y, which is insoluble in water, it gives off a gas when heated and also when reacted with dilute sulfuric acid. But the correct option is A. The reason behind it, sodium carbonate is soluble, copper to carbonate is insoluble. Sodium nitrate is soluble, zinc oxide is insoluble. But correct option for question number 8 is answer A, not B, not C, not D. Correct option is A. The reason behind it, when copper to carbonate, is heated, it gives carbon dioxide with both the condition produce a gas. It gives off a gas when heated and also when reacted with dilute sulfuric acid. So copper carbonate is insoluble and zinc oxide is also insoluble. But you can check the difference. B and C both are soluble, so they cannot be selected as an answer. Why we did not select option D can be opted? Reason is zinc oxide cannot produce gas when it is heated originally, and when they react with sulfuric acid, it produces water vapors, not the gas. So option A is correct. Equations are given. Copper carbonate, when heated, copper oxide plus carbon dioxide produced. When copper carbonate solid, when they react with sulfuric acid, also produce copper sulfate, water, and carbon dioxide. So option A is correct for question number 8. Now, question number 9. What is the ionic equation for the reaction between zinc and aqueous copper to sulfate? Basically, this question is related to the metals reactivity as well as electrochemistry as well. Zinc is more reactive than copper. So zinc atom before reaction is found in the solid form neutral condition. So zinc is highly reactive than copper. So because zinc displaces copper from its compound, produce its original compound to zinc produce its compound, and copper gains electron from zinc. So beta option D for the question number 9 is correct. A is not possible. B is also the reaction, but this is not the complete reaction. We need to write the ionic equation. Zinc plus sulfate, okay, zinc sulfate is formed, no doubt, but this is the simple reaction which cannot be represent the ionic form A, B, and C. Keep this thing in your mind. Question 9, option C is the molecular equation for zinc and copper sulfate solution. But option D is the correct answer of the ionic condition for question number 9. Now, question number 10, which gas reacts with sulfuric acid to form a fertilizer? Carbon dioxide cannot react with sulfuric acid. The reason is carbon dioxide is acidic nature. Acid cannot combine with another acid. Hydrogen and nitrogen both are neutral gases. They cannot produce any fertilizer, but sulfuric acid is an acid. Aqueous ammonia or ammonia gas are basic in nature. That is why when they both react together, they produce a fertilizer, ammonium sulfate. The question did not ask what is the name of the fertilizer. It just asked which gas react with sulfuric acid to form a fertilizer. Hydrogen, nitrogen, both are neutral gases. They cannot turn blue litmus to red or red litmus to blue. They are neutral in nature because these neutral gases cannot react with water as well as litmus solutions or any kind of indicator. They cannot react. So option A is correct for question number 10. Question number 11, correct option is B. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide both are colorless gases. Keep this thing in your mind. Carbon dioxide is an acidic gas, can react with sodium hydroxide, but carbon monoxide cannot. Carbon dioxide is the extinguishes of fire. Carbon monoxide is extinguishes of fire and harmful, very harmful. So option C is also incorrect. Lighter than air, it is also incorrect. Molar mass MR of carbon dioxide is 44. Carbon monoxide is 28. So this is equal to a 28 and 44 is the more than. So the appropriate option is B for question number 11. Now, question number 12, the tricky question related to the ionization of acid, which is an anion. Anion means negative charge containing particle that is present in the solution form when an excess of dilute hydrochloric acid to calcium carbonate. Excess. So positive calcium, hydrogen positive, both are considered cations. They are positive in nature, while B is chloride. And keep this thing in your mind. All carbonate are insoluble, so they cannot produce their ions when they react with acid. So carbonate does not exist in the solution. But chloride ion, because hydrochloric acid, nitric acid, sulfuric acid, any kind of acid, when they produce their negative ions, so HCl contains Cl negative, nitric acid contains nitrate, and sulfuric acid contains sulfate ions. Question 12, option B is correct. Question number 13 is related to the salt analysis. Similarly, acid-based natures too. When a solution containing silver ions is added to a solution containing iron 2 ions, and equilibrium is set up. Silver ion aqueous soluble, iron 2 ion soluble aqueous. They produce silver solid and iron change into iron 3 ions. It is also the redox reaction. Silver ion accept electron, iron 2 ion lose their electron, change into iron 3 ion. So silver became an oxidizing agent in this equation, Fe2 ion as a reducing agent. So silver ion perform reduction because they are oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent are the acceptor of electron, but they perform reduction. While the reducing agent loses their electron, so they perform oxidation. Charge number decreasing in reduction, charge number oxidation number increasing for reducing agent or oxidation. So the addition of this substance would not affect the amount of silver precipitated. Keep this thing in your mind. Silver chloride is insoluble, silver bromide insoluble, silver iodide is insoluble. If iron 2 ion contain maybe chloride, bromide, or iodide. So beta, they produce their insoluble precipitate in a different color. If the silver chloride is white, silver bromide is pale yellow of white, and silver iodide, which is produced as solid during the reaction, this PPT color is yellow. So if I add silver ion, iron 2 ion, iron 3 ion, beta, equilibrium should be disturbed. but water just added, there is no change in the precipitation because just we add water, insoluble precipitate remains insoluble, even more water is added. So question 13, option D is correct. Now question number 14, coin is analyzed by dissolving it in nitric acid because copper is present in the coin. The resulting solution in excess of aqueous ammonia is added and the mixture is filtered. A brown precipitate remains in the filter paper and a deep blue solution is obtained as the filtrate. The filtrate is solution which passes through the filter paper and can be collected in the beaker or conical flask through the filter paper through the filter funnel. While the residue is insoluble part remains as residue on the filter paper, which metal does the coin contain? Brown precipitate for the iron 3, while the blue solution is copper. Aluminium is colorless, copper is blue, iron is colored, but lead is white. Lead and zinc both are white. So this coin contains copper and iron. So question 14, option B is correct. Question number 15, which pair of compound could be used in the preparation of calcium sulfate? Calcium carbonate and sodium sulfate. So calcium carbonate solid, sodium sulfate aqueous. One is solid, second is aqueous, is not possible, but calcium chloride is soluble and ammonium sulfate is soluble. All sulfates are soluble except calcium sulfate, barium sulfate, and lead sulfate. All chloride are soluble except silver, mercury, lead. Option B is correct for question 15. Keep this thing in your mind. C and D, one is the solid and second is the aqueous. So with aqueous and solid cannot react to produce any kind of salt which is insoluble. So if insoluble salt is to be prepared, both the solution should be soluble, aqueous. So question number 15, option B is correct. Now question number 16, a metal reacts with dilute hydrochloric acid to produce a gas. What is used to identify this gas? Metal, when react with acid, keep this thing in your mind, always hydrogen gas is produced. What is the use to identify this gas? Option B is correct because glowing is flint for the test of oxygen, but oxygen is not produced during the reaction. A lighted splint, yes, hydrogen gas and pop sound is produced. Damp blue litmus paper for the chlorine, for the HCl gas, lime water for the carbon dioxide, and damp red litmus paper for ammonia gas. Question number 17 here. Which gas burns in air to form only one product? Option B is correct. Ammonia, oxygen, at very high temperature to produce nitric acid and water, but no reaction at normal temperature. So beta, two different products are there. Two different products should be there. Ammonia plus oxygen change it to nitric oxide, NO plus H2O. But carbon monoxide when combined with oxygen produce carbon dioxide. HCl plus oxygen, no reaction. Methane plus oxygen produce carbon dioxide and water. So we can say that only B option produce single product when they react with oxygen. Burn means oxygen. Question number 18. So question 17, option B is correct, boy. Question number 18, titration of an acid against a base is a method often used in the preparation of salts. Salts should be soluble. That is why titration should be used. One should be an acid and second should be an alkali or base, and both the substances are soluble. Salt, preparation salt. Basically, titration method can be used to prepare soluble type salts. Axis method is used for soluble salt, while the precipitation method is used for insoluble salt can be produced as products. So option D is correct for question number 18. Soluble acid, soluble base, and salt should be soluble. This is the reason behind it for the titration technique. And axis method, if you remember, guys, if you remember, all type of axis method should be used when metal oxide, and their metal carbonate are insoluble in water. Then acid can react with them. They produce a different type of compound, but the salt which is produced should be soluble. So axis method, we have to take little amount of insoluble metal oxide or metal carbonate, and the excess amount of acid, little amount of acid is used, and excess amount of insoluble metal oxide or insoluble metal carbonate should be used. That is why these insoluble substances used as excess quantity, while acid should be the limited quantity. So all acid consumed during the reaction, but remains insoluble metal oxide or metal carbonates. Now, question number 19, we have to secure a time. Question number 19, the diagram shows copper to oxide being reduced by hydrogen to copper after reduction is complete, means copper react with hydrogen so that a compound is formed. Copper to oxide can be separated copper by using hydrogen. During the extraction of metal, we have learned highly reactive metals, sodium, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum. Before zinc, these metals can be obtained during electrolysis for their molten oxides, molten salts. But below aluminum, zinc, iron, lead. So we have to complete our class right now.